I guess, just jump into it in a second here. Are there any pre-stream announcements I need to make? Hold on. Hang on. Let me just text somebody real quick. I'm trying to think if there's anything I need to let y'all know about, and I don't think that is the case. Well, that's good. I don't think that there's anything I need to tell you guys about right now, so that's good. Yeah, so we're here. We're gonna play Great Eastern Chronicles. Gonna continue the adventure of the Clouded Corporal. Okay, let's just jump into it, I guess. Here we go. Here we go. So happy. Here we go. Episode IV, which costs $1,000
I
at your
begin
local
to
hospital.
think, Wilson, said Sholmes, turning his head languidly in my direction, that there is more to this case than that which we have observed.
No, you don't say.
Indeed, that there may be another part to this story that we are yet to discover. His eyes
That's nice
wandered,
tea.
following the steam rising from his cup of herbal tea,
Herbal.
leading him to the distant memory of that snowy evening.
Oh no, a lady.
To the young lady collapsed on the pavement along Briar Road, and to the knife in her back.
Oh.
Lit in the soft glow of gas
see a
lamps,
body.
a most extraordinary scene had been set. And under the cover of a light fog, the curtain had risen silently on the insoluble mystery of our invisible killer.
Oh my. Well, I will learn more about that as we get there. Hello, Lord Royal Man. I still think you killed somebody. Lord Chief Justice. Oh, he's not here yet. Did you sleep last night, Mr. Naruhodo? No, not at all. It was an enormous hotel, wasn't it? The rooms were so luxurious. I felt like we were staying in a palace. And all the gas lights twinkling, it was brighter than day and even in the middle of the night. What about the enormous beds? After my time on the SS Borea, I wasn't going to waste a single inch of that space. Spent the entire night rolling from one side of the mattress to the other. Oh yes, it really was the sort of night you can only dream of normally. Except when I learned that we owed £3 for the rooms, that dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Oops. Sorry about that. The building was so impressive, and the entrance so inviting, I just wandered in without thinking. That is not a good idea. Have you ever read the Roald Dahl story, The Landlady? Don't do that. In a lodging house in Japan, that sum of money would put a roof over your head for a whole year. I did try, but I'm afraid I couldn't help my tears when we were positioned. Ugh, I really am sorry. Well, never mind. We must find some more affordable lodging straight away, though. If we're not careful, our entire stipend will be used up in 10 days or less. Ugh, London's a scary place. Ah, good morning to you at this early hour. Still think you killed somebody, dude. I don't know who, but... You're the villain, I think. Don't say anything. Oh, yes, well... Good morning to you, Lord Chief Justice. We have come to report on the outcome of the trial at the Old Bailey yesterday. Suzato-san is amazing. She doesn't bat an eyelid, even in the presence of imposing Lord Strongheart. Yes, I believe you've had a very comprehensive initiation into British courtroom politics. Oh yes, it was very eye-opening, thank you. And in accordance with your instructions, Lord Strongheart, Mr. Naruhodo performed his duty to the end. Yes, I've already been apprised of events. You conducted a remarkable defense. You may consider the test passed. Oh. No longer are you a student from the Empire of Japan. You may henceforth claim to be a fully fledged lawyer. My country is delighted to welcome young talent from such a remote eastern land. Thank you very much. So, I'm a lawyer now. Get a badge. Now, in view of your new appointment, I have a fresh case in mind for you. I'd like you to take it on at once. I trust that won't be a problem. Another case? Already? Nothing trains a lawyer better than practical experience. I'm sure I don't sense dissatisfaction, do I? It's just that yesterday's trial ended unusually. I haven't quite come to terms with it. What's to come to terms with? The man was cleared. What more were you hoping for? The truth?
The culpability of the defendant has not at the present time been established by this court. Consequently, the jury will not be required to proffer judgment.
Well, Lord Van Zeeks, it's been a pleasure, so it has. And as for you, my dear fella, I couldn't have asked for a better defense. Magnus McGilded. Can't help wondering if Mr. McGilded really was innocent? Mr. Naruhodo. It's just that I never managed to ascertain the truth, and then the trial ended. Well, you needn't let it trouble you for a second longer. Sorry? What do you mean, Lord Strongheart? Huh? What? Okay, cool, I guess. Well, rip that dude. I don't know what? Not the words I was expecting. Magnus McGilded passed away immediately following the trial. No! What? Mr. McGilded is dead? I have 19 minutes and 41 seconds until my next engagement. Time enough to talk. Converse. What color? I don't understand. What happened? How can he be dead? After the trial concluded yesterday, there's a great commotion in the Old Bailey. As you'll presumably recall, an omnibus had been wheeled into the courtroom. Yes, of course, that was the scene of the crime which Mr. Rayla had been accused of. Precisely. Well, while the bailiff's attention was diverted by some other matter, the omnibus went up in flames. No. How could such a thing have happened? I remember that, yeah. That is being investigated as we speak already. The police have identified a corpse found inside the charred shell of the carriage as that of McGilded. That's awful. The man must have slipped inside while the bailiff's attention was elsewhere. That bailiff really needs to pay more attention. And how could that have happened? That is also being investigated as we speak. Man. Wild shit that goes on in the corner. Thinking back now, immediately after the trial, Mr. McGilded did mention going back into the courtroom to look at the omnibus. Well, I must be making tracks now. Now, it's time for the inspection. Sorry, what inspection? They're going to examine the omnibus again, so I'm told. I asked if I could be present for it myself. An inspection of the omnibus? Not to my knowledge. I don't believe Scotland Yard had any intention of re-examining the carriage. But then who was Mr. McGilded talking about? Never mind that now. The Yard is making a thorough investigation. This matter is no longer any concern of yours. Leave it to police. Or Mr. McGilded. British court. Oh, you gonna use that? Oh. Cool. I'm okay with that. So, how did you find your first taste of our country's Supreme Court? Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, it was... wow. Mr. Naruto means that the whole experience was steeped in the solemnity of Great Britain's long history. It's really a world apart from our own judicial system in Japan, which is only a few short decades old. Wow. Susato-san has such a way with words. And you seem to have a way of failing to find the right ones. The judicial system here is the most advanced in the world. Learn all you can. Most advanced in the world, is it? It was fortunate that your very first trial was a simple affair. Simple? That was simple? As I believe I mentioned yesterday morning, it was a trial you couldn't lose. I don't mean to be contrary, Lord Strongheart, but the case was anything but simple. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed— oh, shit. Let me try that again. The circumstances of the case were so incriminating, I was stunned when I first heard them. In fact, I'm still finding it hard to believe that we managed to get a favorable verdict. Is something funny? No, my apologies. However, the fact is that you did receive the not guilty verdict you set out to achieve. And that can only be attributed to exceptional talent. Talent, wouldn't you agree? Well, I don't know about that. Well, I do. Well, never mind. You exceeded my expectations, I freely admit. That much is at least an undeniable truth, which is precisely why I've prepared the new case for you that I mentioned before. What's going on? What's he going to say before? Could you perhaps give us some more details about the new case you mentioned? Don't tell me it's a murder and the trial starts in 10 minutes. Don't worry, it's nothing so alarming or quite so urgent as your last assignment. In fact, this case is completely different. Oh, I see. Did he just read my mind? That is to say, no one has died. As yet. And the trial will not be today. There's plenty of time to research the case thoroughly. 23 hours, 43 minutes, and 19 seconds to be precise. So the trial's tomorrow then. Is everything all right? Oh, yes. I'm just a little confused, that's all. Yesterday's trial was, well, it's left me wondering if I'm really cut out for being a lawyer. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. I don't know if I could face standing in that courtroom again after Mr. McGilded's trial. Ah, yes. I nearly forgot. There's one similarity with yesterday's case. Once again, there is currently no one to advocate for the defense. Oh, if the situation remains unchanged, trial will start tomorrow with the defendant unrepresented, and if that happens, I need not remind you of the inevitable outcome. The most terrible end awaits the defendant. Yes, that's right. Ugh, here we go again. Your time is up. You will have to excuse me. I would advise you to begin making preparations for tomorrow's trial. After all, the clock is ever ticking. There is now but 23 hours, 26 minutes, and 39 seconds until the court sits. Last time he mentioned 23 hours, he said there was plenty of time. And one more thing, Mr. Naruhodo. There's something I should like to ask you. Oh, what's that? Oh, what's that? Yesterday you remarked upon something. That you intend to see through the will of your late compatriot, Mr. Asugi. I would be interested to hear exactly what you mean by that. Inside 34 seconds. Oh, well, Kazumi always used to say, that he wanted to learn how the Grace Justice System and work so he could change ours in Japan. Now that he's gone, I'd like to work toward myself. And there's another thing. Oh. Another thing, continue. On the way here, on the steamship, he said something to me. There's something very important that I have to do. Something very important? And what exactly would that be? He never had a chance to tell me. I suppose he would have done... Yeah, you're out of time. Well, thank you for enlightening discussion. Mr. Naruhodo, what's this all about? What's all this about? Mr. Asugi never once mentioned anything of the sort to me. I urge you to focus both to focus your attentions on the matter at hand. I've taken the liberty of summoning the police inspector in charge of the case. He'll be able to apprise you of the details. How long has he been there? So, I wish you the best of luck, but you farewell. Bye, you're hot, but like bye. There's something very important that I have to do. That's my son. What did you mean? Wish I knew, but honestly, you never told me. Anyway, we better talk to that detective, don't you think? Yes, you're right. I'm just imagining it, but I wouldn't say he looks pleased to see us at all. Alright, here we go. Could we trouble you? What do you think? Ah, um, lovely weather, isn't it? What's the weather got to do with anything? Ah, listen to me, you young Japanese upstart. I'm frippery about the weather doesn't get every English gent eaten out the hand, you know. But Suzata-san told me it was foolproof. I'm a busy man, a very busy man. There's a crime scene to investigate, but I'm here having to give the likes of you a talking to. Oh, I'm ever so sorry. Can you imagine what the other officers there will be saying? Haven't seen Gregson anywhere, have you? Now he's too busy with the bigwigs these days. And it's all because of some bumpkin who's out here on John, from a country I've never even heard of. Hear that ripping sound? That's me pants. That's my reputation at the yard going to tatters. There's no need to rip us apart as well. I don't believe we've been introduced. This is Mr. Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a defense lawyer. Eh? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Eh? It's lovely weather we're having today, isn't it? Hope he responds well to the weather this time. It is unseasonably fine, I grant you. London winters don't see a lot of sunshine. Unbelievable! How did she pull that off? So, Lord Strongheart has asked you to fill you in on the case. My name's Tobias Gregson. Inspector Gregson to you. I'm from Scotland Yard. Gregson? Inspector Gregson? What's the matter with Suzata? Let me guess, he was in the Sholmes books. Does this detective's name mean something to her? Inspector, are you perhaps the Inspector Gregson? Depends on who's asking. You're asking like you know this man, Miss Suzata, but he's a London detective. Oh, I do know him. Very well, in fact. Very well. Yes, he features prominently in The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Oh, in that publication. What's it called again? Ranst magazine? That's right. Inspector Gregson and Mr. Sholmes enjoy a wonderful friendly rivalry. Really? Really? You rival the great Mr. Sholmes? That's incredible. Oh, well, I don't know about that. Mr. Sholmes isn't a professional like myself, of course, but he does come up with the goods from time to time. Mr. Sholmes is equally complimentary about you, Inspector, isn't he? You've earned his highest praise. Gregson is the pick of a bad lot of all the Scotlanders. Those were his own words. That's his highest praise? Well, Mr. Sholmes is particularly known for giving compliments, you see. That he is not. And thanks to that magazine. My name's known all over London now. No. That's great, isn't it? I have to admit that at the start I was a little, well, flattered by all the attention. Everyone wanted to shake my hand, and the reputation at the yard went through the roof. Well, that's wonderful. No, it is not. There's nothing more sinister than the man on the street. People are always looking at me now. There has been rumours about me under their breath, I'm sure. Rumours? Rumours? Are you quite sure? He's changed since he started appearing in the stories. The fame's gone to his head. Stuff like that. Gosh, do you really think people are saying such mean-spirited things about you? Like I said, they whisper, so I can't catch exactly what they're saying, but I know what folk are like. I'm sure that's what they're saying. Sure as eggs is eggs. One sec. There we go. I get the feeling this detective took to do very hard work. Oh dear. Perhaps this sudden rise to fame does change people. So, about the case that the Lord Chief Justice mentioned before. Nothing to tell, really. As far as we're concerned with the art, it couldn't be simpler. Oh dear, that probably means that as far as we're concerned as lawyers, it couldn't be more complicated. I wish you were wrong about that, but I have a nasty feeling you're right. A young woman was walking along the pavement on Briar Road when she was stabbed from behind. Fortunately, it wasn't fatal, but she's still laid up in the hospital, unconscious. That's despicable. What sort of coward would attack the poor woman from behind? Suppose you would have finished whoever it was off with a Suzato takedown, would you? That is neither here nor there, Mr. Naruto. Brace yourself, Ryosuke. You've angered her now. Anyway, after something of a whirlwind investigation, the criminal was arrested. We barely had time for a cup of tea after the incident took place, to be honest. So there must have been something left at the scene that led you directly to the culprit? Or perhaps a reliable witness who recognized the person in question? Let me stop you right there. You're wasting your time on this one. Sorry? There's nothing you can do. There's no way to have the bloke down. Now, why or not? Simple. Prosecutor's been assigned to the trial tomorrow is Lord Baroxa and Zeeks. Oh, sounds like you heard of them. Oh yes, we are very familiar with Lord Van Zeeks. Believed to be the harbinger of death itself. Reaper of the Bailey. Oh, my husband. Reaper of the Bailey. Lord Baroque Van Zeeks, who we faced in court only yesterday. Mr. McGilda told us about him before the trial, didn't he? When Van Zeek stands for the prosecution, they call the accused as sacrificial lambs. Oh man, what a looker.
I like this. This is cute. I want this inside of me.
And in every single trial in which he's been the prosecutor, the accused has been damned. For this one. This Reaper of the Bailey nickname, I suppose he's earned that because every defendant he advocates against is found guilty, is that it? Well, if that's the case, we should inform you, Inspector, that in yesterday's trial against Lord Van Zeeks, Mr. Naruhodo secured a verdict of not guilty. What of it? Oh, well, I think that means that even against the Reaper of the Bailey, it's not impossible to save the defendant. No, you really don't have a clue, do you? What do you mean? What happened to that bloke in the end, eh? He's dead. Magnus McGilda came a cropper in an omnibus when it went up in flames. So you can't rightly say you saved the defendant, can you? What are you saying? Look, if Van Zeeks could get this dirt to stick on everyone, he'd be a miracle worker. But that's not how it goes. It doesn't work miracles. It works magic. Black magic. I'd have a good long think about that if I were you. Are we really supposed to believe that? Right, well, I filled you in as requested, but I'm very nearly out of chips. So I'll be heading back to the crime scene now. We're still carrying out a few investigations there. It was Briar Road, you said, didn't you? Where the incident took place. That's correct, Mum. And if you head over to the holding cells, you can meet the criminal himself. You branded him a criminal already? He's as good as. Shaking like a leaf in a cell, he is. He'll give you a chuckle if nothing else. He's in 53. Speak to the jailer and he'll show you the way. In 853. Thank you. So there's no helping anyone against the Reaper of the Bailey, they say. Something troubling you, Mr. Naruto? To tell you the truth, when I recall the trial yesterday, I can't stop myself from shaking. The idea of facing the Reaper in court again is... Well, if you think it's too much for you, there's no shame in turning the case down. That takes courage too. But if the man they've arrested is innocent, you could well imagine he would be shaking like a leaf in a cell. And I, for one, wouldn't find the sight of that funny. So, if I'm honest, I'm still reeling from the shocks of yesterday's events myself. And I'm really not sure if I'll be able to help this man, whoever he is. But I'd like to try. So I think I'm going to make some inquiries. Will you help? Did you really think you had to ask? After all, I'm your judicial assistant. Thank you. So then, shall we? Yes, let's go. Let's go. Let's go meet the man. I would like to do that first, but the game may not let me. Hey, what a cell this is. 19th heavy. Local prison cell 9. So these are British prison cells. Oh, they're ghastly. It feels just like a dungeon. Yes, and having experienced it in Japan myself, I can assure you that our wooden cells feel a lot cozier than these stone walls. Oh, don't, Mr. Naruto. You're making it seem worse. Apparently, our client is in this cell here. It's so dark at the back there, I can't make him out. I wonder what he's like. Inmate 53, your legal representative is here to see you. Stop hiding at the back of the cell and show your face at once. Am I a cat? Is it with no name? Calling me by a number. It's utterly, unbelievably, unjustly, unreasonable. I refuse to answer. Mr. Naruto, what do you think is going on here? I have no idea. But I wasn't just hearing things, was I? That tired of complaints was in Japanese. Oh, I didn't even notice that. Hey Clark, how you doing? You're not late, it's good. Shh, quiet, quiet. They're all around, hiding. I know they are. Listening, even now. I sense it. Is your husbando Gregson? There you are. You've come to curse me, haven't you? Don't try to hide it. You're a ghost. A ghost? We mean you no harm, prisoner-san. Are you Japanese by any chance? This is... beyond my wildest dreams. Yeah, Gregson seems fun. Forgive me for that outburst before. I'm so sorry. Oh, it's fine. We were just a little surprised, that's all. Imagine it! It's been 12 long months since I left my hometown, and here I am in a frightful fix in a foreign land. Oh, hearing the sweet, sentimental tones of a compatriot's voice here in this damp, dark hellhole was a most monumentally moving moment. Who could have guessed that this new client Lord Strongheart assigned to us would turn out to be a fellow Japanese? Ah, what compassion my fellow countrymen show, to dispatch a first-class lawyer all the way from Japan to defend a mere foreign student. Noble, nurturing, never failing, Nippon. A first-class lawyer? Oh dear, I think there's been something of a misunderstanding here. I wonder, would you be so kind as to tell us what happened? Why you've been detained as a suspect, for example? Yes, I can, I will. Can't say sullen and silent. Oh lord. It's like Rhonda Light, except like slightly more eccentric than Rhonda Light. I'm not quite sure I understand what he means, but he seems happy. Yes, he does. I just hope he actually has a good reason to be. Thank you for cooperation. I'm a lawyer, as you said. My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. And I am Naruhodo-san's judicial assistant, Sudato Mikoto. I am a visiting student sent here by our government. Notoriously named Natsume. Soseki Natsume. Alright, Mr. Natsume. Soseki Natsume-san. What an unusual name. Call me Soseki, please. I'm a poet, you see. A writer of haiku. It's something of a nom de plume. A nom de plume? Nom de plume? You mean an alias? He seems fun. That's right, Naruhodo-san. No, don't be so prosaic. It's much more refined. It's much more refined than that. And haiku? That really reminds me of all. Did I hear you say you were a visiting student sent over here by the government? Yes, that's right. A year ago, I was told to go and study English. First I had to suffer that misery, and now this. It's beyond the pale. Suffer that misery? Did you not want to study here? So this is a real human. No, I mean, I've had an interest in Great Britain for some years, of course. Oh, but just because the government tells you to do something doesn't mean you can do it? No. What do you mean? If they told me to study English literature, that I could have understood. That's my field. But no, they told me to study the English language. Utterly, unbelievably, unjustly unreasonable. I see. Only the other day I was told to send a report about my first year here. And then a blank piece of paper. Wise words on whitewash. Also, by the way, hi Flarg, I hope you are doing very well. I didn't say that earlier, and I apologize. He's dabbing. Kind of. He must be a man of great standing. Oh yes, so I'm often told. I often like to be told, it seems. Oh nice, that's good. Could you perhaps tell us exactly why you've been arrested, Soseki-san? I didn't do it. I didn't commit that atrocious murder. Murder? Oh, no, it's alright. The woman didn't actually die, did she? But she was stabbed with a knife right before my eyes. Before your eyes? You mean you saw the attacker? Wow, interesting. I didn't see anyone. What? If I had seen the person who did it, do you think I'd be locked up in here? Oh dear, it seems this case is becoming rather complicated. Why me? Why me? Why did that silly woman have to be stabbed in front of me? The curse of London. It's incredibly, inexcusably, irritatingly inconvenient. So Soseki-san was there at the scene, but he didn't see the attacker. It's vital that we find out more about this case. About the case. Oh lord, here we go with this. It was an accursed evening, just after the snow had started to clear and heavy with fog. I'd been to the bookshop to buy some books, and I was on my way back to my cursed lodgings. Sure, the bookshop wasn't accursed too. Oh my god. As I was walking down along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole accursed silhouette of another accursed ahead of me. A woman wearing a green accursed overcoat she was, just as I went to overtake her. She suddenly let out a little scream and collapsed onto the cold, hard, accursed slabs of stone at my feet. How terrible! I called out to the woman, but she didn't move. It was like a ghostly, ghoulish, grim graveyard. Slight exaggeration there, perhaps? I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. That's not good. They'll say it was shameful, I know, to run away like that. Tell me, Soseki-san, was the victim an acquaintance of yours? Don't be ridiculous. Do you think I know any of these fair-haired English? And a young woman at that. I'm diffident, shy, timid, unsure. I can't talk to people. Oh wow, what a mood. I see, a young woman unknown to Soseki-san. And at the time it happened, who else did you see her nearby? Did anybody pass you? Regrettably, apart from myself and the woman, I didn't see a soul. No one? Oh, great. So the victim was unknown to you, and there was nobody else on the street at the time. That creates some of a conundrum, doesn't it? What conundrum? Oh lord, please tell me you get this, Ryu. What do you mean, Susato-san? What's the conundrum? Well, if what Soseki-san has just told us is true, there's something I can't explain. He says he didn't know the victim and that there was no one else at the scene. Then apparently he fled without having been seen. I did. But if that's the case, surely this man has to be the culprit? Ugh, you. What did you just say? Nothing. I didn't say anything. I'm pretty sure that was in his thoughts. But I thought that a little loudly. Actually, that's not what was troubling me. What I was thinking was, how did Soseki-san actually come to be arrested? Sorry? He didn't touch the victim and there was nobody at the scene to see him. So how did the police ever discover that he was in there in the first place? Oh yeah, she's right. Yeah, that's true too. It was him. That accursed great detective. He led the police to me. all the bad luck. First great detective. Could it be? She'll never forget that man's name as long as I live. His haughty laugh and self-proclaimed greatness. Brash, big-headed busybody and gone. May you be cursed until the end of your days, Hairlock Sholmes. I knew it. Oh lord. Mr. Sholmes? Hairlock Sholmes. Well, didn't expect to hear this name from this man's lips, that's for sure. It was the morning after that nightmare had unfolded on the pavement before me. I was gnawing on a sliver of hard cheese when some men suddenly burst in through the door. They started shouting at me, "This is the police, put the weapon down." Yes, it was a thin sliver, and yes, it was hard, but I wasn't eating a weapon. Disgusting dietary discrimination balls. You clearly had a trying morning yesterday. And there he was, in the middle of all the policemen, grinning like a Cheshire cat. At Hairlock Sholmes. It's actually just Herlock Sholmes. He's English. I've since found out that he's a famous name in detection here in London. Yes, the great detective is really very well known. And his overly sharp mind managed to deduce my whereabouts, apparently. He thinks I'm the knife-wielding madman. Me, this weak, stooped kitten of a man. I wonder what great deduction process led him to this conclusion this time. Do you mean to say that Mr. Sholmes' deduction was the only reason the police arrested you? That would be really most unreasonable. Well, the thing is, I was thrown into a panic when they barged their way in. Of course you were, that's only natural. I was terrified and trembling, and they kept throwing question after question at me. In impossible English, you confessed, didn't you? Fiendish, foreign, flim-flammery. You didn't confess, did you? Well, we are in England, you can't really blame them for questioning you in English. Good point, but my mind went blank. I knew I had to answer, but I didn't know what to say, so I just kept repeating things like, "Yes, I do," and "I'm fine." Ha ha ha. Follow. The next thing I knew, I was in manacles, and before I knew it, I was thrown in here. Oh dear, I'm afraid that's hardly surprising. I'm fine. It's not fine now. Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. Oh, you can just call me Naruhodo. And when we're speaking English, a simple mister is more than enough. Oh, yes, alright, yes, they've really got to me. This country is poisoning my mind. Please, I beg you to defend me in court tomorrow. You can tell them what really happened. You'll do it, won't you? Well, why? Why is it so hard to say yes to me? Well, the thing is, I'm just a student like yourself. On a study tour. Well, a student? I have defended a case in the Old Bailey. Only the one, though. At this moment in time, I don't really know what I'm supposed to believe in. I'm confused about what justice in this country even means. Oh, Naruhodo-san. I'm not even this foreign student who was supposed to be here. I'm sort of a locum lawyer, I suppose. But that armband, that's the mark of a defense lawyer from our great empire. A keepsake from a man who should have been here. He was my friend. Keepsake? I know exactly what they're saying about me. Oh, who do you mean? The lawyers, all the British defense lawyers, they won't defend me. Goodness, why? Why do you say that? For the same reason as you noted before. When it happened, there was only the victim and myself around, and I ran away from the scene of the crime. I'm not a fool. I know it looks as though I must be the culprit. It must be very hard for you, Sasaki-san. And anyway, I'm a student from overseas. I'm just a foreign nobody to them. Somebody not to be trusted. I heard them openly laughing about me before, in my earshot without any compunction at all. Any trial for this man would be a waste of time, they said, and of course the foreigner did it. They even had the gall to say, that man doesn't understand half of what's being said anyway. That's awful. That's wrong. I've studied more English than half the policemen out there on the street. I traveled halfway around the world to learn these people's country and its great history. But no one here wants to listen to a man with a strange accent. They all hate me. So at the very least, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who can listen to me in my native tongue. You could do it, couldn't you? When I look into your eyes, I can see it. I can see what you've been through. Sasaki-san, it's just that... Give me a little time, please. I'll do what I can for the time being. What do you mean? What do you mean? We shall investigate the case as thoroughly as possible. We can find some clues. It'll give some much better hints, I'm sure. Oh yes, thank you. I'll be here, all alone, waiting for you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo, Esquire. We should be going then, Naruhodo-san. We have a case to prepare for. That was fun. 19th February, Briar Road. Well, that bike seems off. So this is where it happened. Briar Road. Ah, look, Mr. Nutter. Look at that regulation metal helmet. It's unmistakable. Men of Scotland Yard are here. They're investigating as we speak. That is their job, you know. But Mr. Naruhodo, to see one with my own eyes. They're all from depicted in the adventures of Herlock Sholmes, but I never dreamt I'd ever come this close. To a real Bobby's helmet. What? The helmet? Of course. I have to try one on someday. Well, I hope your Hattie dream comes true. Oh Lord, Susato. Hey, it's my man. What's going on? What's this Japanese delegation doing here? Oh, Inspector Gregson. This isn't on the tourist trail, so apparently Schroeder will aware. Yes, of course. We're here to investigate. So you've been to the holding cells then? What'd you make of the criminal? It's not a criminal, as you put it, Inspector. He's a suspect. We'll see about that. We'll see about that. You Japanese like to stick together, I suppose. Well, do what you will. Doesn't bother me. We'll to court tomorrow, whatever happens, and the verdict's a foregone conclusion. Ugh, the stone-cold air of rejection. Take heart. London at this time of year is full of stone-cold air. That makes it worse somehow. Here we go. Aye, lad, come here. Scotland Yard. Tell me about Scotland Yard, Inspector. Ever since I read about it in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, I've been fascinated by the place. The Yard is the most sophisticated policing organization you'll find anywhere in the world, man. Oh, and you know, I've always dreamt of wearing a real Bobby's helmet. It does make them look the part, seeing that policeman there with his helmet on. I only get the sense that this is a man who will take no nonsense in his duty of protecting the city. Oh yes, doesn't he look wonderful? Being a London Bobby is hard going, I can tell you. Oh really? First thing in the morning, you know what he does? Goes around and houses all the labourers on his beat so they can get off to work. What? He wakes people up? Yep, raps on their windows with a long pole. Did it myself going back a bit. I had no idea. The Bobby works for the people of the town. It's just another one of his duties. After that, he just tirelessly patrolling the streets all day long. He has to cover 20 miles a day, that's the regulation distance. I can't really imagine how far that is, but it sounds like a long way. Let me see. 20 miles, that's approximately the difference from Tokyo to Yokohama. On foot, that's definitely taking things a step too far. And when it gets dark, of course, he has the important job of lighting all the gas street lamps. Oh my. Because in between all these duties, Bobbies are expected to investigate cases as well. And chase after criminals trying to evade the law. Oh, Jesus. I'm not sure you could call it in between exactly, more like alongside, but yes. They're expected to handle those jobs as well. We do have men keeling over from time to time, I'll admit. I always dreamt of wearing one of those helmets, as I said. But it's with a heavy heart that I shall have to relinquish that dream to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Yep, I know that that's accurate. Your heavy heart will be my heavy head if you do. Happened around 5 in the evening 2 days ago, just there, on that open bit of pavement. The victim, a young woman, was stabbed with a blade from behind. Oh. You're right that the lady is still unconscious now. You mentioned she's being treated in the hospital. I never said she was a lady. She says, unless she comes around pretty smartish, we'll be able to find out much about her at all. That means they haven't been able to take a statement from her, of course. Here's a map of the local area. I have a map on me. You can take it if you want. Really? Are you sure? It's your policy to give lawyers defending suspects the odd bit of information and go on. I haven't actually accepted the job yet, still. Thank you, Inspector. We gratefully accept. Map, cool. Anyway, Horace would know. There was no one else on the scene other than the victim and your fellow countryman. So, who did it, do you think? How much of a head scratcher is it? Well, I know Mr. Natsume is also claiming to have not seen anyone around, but just because he didn't see anyone, it doesn't mean that we can't be sure that nobody else was present. I'm sorry to have to tell you, but we most certainly can be sure. Those footprints are saying how? Because the precise moment of the stabbing didn't go unnoticed. It what? We have two very reliable witnesses, no less. Ah! The typical foggy London day. And your client obviously didn't see him. There were witnesses now? Alright, let's go into it. Who are these witnesses, Inspector? A fellow and his wife. And the man's one of the most reliable and respected citizens in all of London. He's a copper from Scotland Yard. Ah! A policeman? That might change things. And this policeman just happened to be there at the exact moment the woman was attacked? Nothing peculiar about that, man. Part and parcel of being a bobby, catching him and banging the act and all that. Do you think it may be possible for us to ask that policeman a few questions? Be my guest, you can ask him what you like. In court tomorrow? Oh, I have no doubt he'll be summoned as a witness. That'll give you something to look forward to. What's that then? He's got no intention of letting us meet the man beforehand, yeah? Policeman witnessed the incident. As your judicial assistant, I must warn you that this could make our job very difficult indeed, I know. That's okay. Yes, as a non-judicial assistant, I could have warned me of that too. Oh, snarky. Well, snarkster. You love to see. What do we got there? One more thing, Inspector. What? There's no legend of the suspect. I hear that was Mr. Sherlock Holmes. What are you bringing him up for? Was it something I said? The color has drained from his cheeks. Alright, first off, tomorrow's trial. So much talking. That twitchy Japanese bloke goes on trial tomorrow. Are you going to defend him or not? Well, thank you for the host, Rabbit. I really appreciate it. Makes no difference to me, but I will just say this. No London lawyer worth his salt will touch that case with a barge pole. Because the prosecution is being handled by the Reaper of the Bailey, you mean? There's no way to save the man now. It's a waste of time trying. How you doing, Rabbit? It's all a bit strange though. Sorry? The Reaper? He hasn't appeared in court once for a good few years now. Yes, we did hear something to that effect. And the only people he usually bothers with are the real scum, the master criminals, the violent ones. Master criminals? The violent ones? I'm good. That's right, he handpicks his victims, only deals with those guaranteed to go to the gallows for their sins. But Mr. Natsume wouldn't hang for what he's accused of, surely. That's just my point, sunshine. Yes, the young woman was stabbed, but it didn't kill her. Couldn't even say the intent was there. So this isn't the sort of case I'd be expecting the Reaper to want to sink his teeth into, for want of a better phrase. Well, it's not actually exactly a minor infraction, is it? No, there's got to be more to it. Some reason he's taken an interest. Really? What sort of reason, Inspector? You think I can tell you what's going inside the head of that Lord of Darkness? You'll have to ask him yourself at tomorrow's trial. We're really gonna have to face the Reaper again? The Lord of Darkness? Drag cold on. Oh, thank God I didn't add a fifth optional dialogue somewhere. Or a sixth, I think, at this point. Yeah, I'm doing good though. So nice, relaxing Friday. Who did you hear that name from? Oh, well, it was Mr. Natsume who mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes was the police when they entered his lodgings. I'm sure it was the result of one of Mr. Sholmes' inspirational great deductions. Girl, you're defending him, you gotta stop fangirling right now. Beautiful. The man's an amateur. I'm getting sick and tired of him showing his mug everywhere. Oh. I don't know where he gets his information from. He turns up at the scene of the crime, wanders around spouting incomprehensible rubbish, and before you know it, he claims to have solved the case. Yes, he's quite astounding, isn't he? Confounding, more like it. He is a great help to Scotland Yard, though, isn't he? He will go. Hey, Paperstar, how you doing? Never seen this before. Oh, yes, that's Rance magazine. A wonderful publication in which the adventures of Sherlock Holmes appears. Yes, well, that wonderful publication, as you put it, sees fit to include several of the Yard's detectives in its stories. And the so-called Great Detective makes a mockery of all of us. You ask anyone at the Yard, it's a misadventure to be included in any Sherlock Holmes tale at all. Well, I suppose there is an element of that. Woke up late, had some pizza? Nice. We work our socks off, every last one of us, only to be thrown by by the public thanks to that obnoxious detective. Man's as dangerous to us at Scotland Yard as he is to all the criminals. That really can't be true, can it, Inspector? Clearly, the great detective and the police have a complex relationship. Can I investigate now? Are we done speaking? Well, I don't think we're gonna get any more yet, thank you. Mr. Naruto, can I make a suggestion? Oh, yes, what is it? Well, it seems to me that we must speak with him about this. By him, do you mean Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Gerlach Sholmes, exactly. Look at it. Oh, yeah. Well, Mr. Natsume did blame Mr. Sholmes for all this, didn't he? Yes, he did. He really did. Which makes him an involved party in the case. Are you just going to ignore that? I hope not. I assure you, it's not simply my selfish desire to meet with Mr. Sholmes again. Trouble is, we have no idea of the man's address even. It's Baker Street. How do you know that? It's in the stories, of course. 221B Baker Street, the most famous address in the world. Oh, I see. Well, there's nothing to stop us from going, I suppose. We better try to find our way there before Suzato-san gets any more excited and unpredictable. Hurrah! I'll summon a carriage. Let me investigate first. Reunion already with the great detective. Thank you. Look, another omnibus. Oh, that's a it's a Scotland carriage on it. These vehicles like that. Is it a dream of yours? Well, just pick up a stone and throw it through one of the windows even. You'll be arrested. Wouldn't it? I keep hitting the thing twice. Still, if it's the only way, help me go find a good stone. No, I wasn't serious. Snowman. What a delightful snowman. I didn't realize the English had a tradition of making snowmen as well. It looks a little creepy though. What is this scarf? Look! You'd need one if you were out in this freezing cold all the time, I would think. I wish I had one. I'm afraid our budget is somewhat frozen at the moment too. We certainly can't afford a scarf. Surely the snowman here wouldn't miss his. But the person who made the snowman certainly would. 16 seems right. Yes, I know, you're right. Anyway, even if I borrowed it, it wouldn't do much to warm my neck, would it? It's covered in snow. There are piles of snow on the pavement here and there, but the road itself is covered in carriage tracks. Seems carriages often travel down by our road. Soon disperses all the snow. I slipped over when I was walking down the pavement earlier. Seems it would be far safer to walk around on the road instead. Oh, but you're rather small, Mr. Naruto, and dressed in all black. I worry Coachman might not see you, and you could be flattened by horses. Well, thank you for the rather small concern. No, I don't know, but I think she reads 16-year-old to me. I don't know. This patch of pavement must be where the incident occurred. Yes, it's a very wide open space, isn't it? That's true. I can't see anywhere an attacker could have been hiding. Oi, what are you foreigners doing here? Oh, I'm just investigating the scene. I'm conspiring with that mustache fellow from Japan, are you? Conspiring? I'm here to destroy evidence, have you? Get out of here before I give you an idle... Go on. Bobby Hill. Just play it like that. Yes, we should give him wide berth, I think. A disappointing experience. It's one of the officers from Scotland Yard. We've done nothing wrong, so sure. Twice I found myself in handcuffs despite not knowing a thing about what was going on. Yes, you've had some dreadful experiences. I'm sure that's that wide-eyed look of panic you're so prone to. It does you no favors at all. Oh, a British bicycle, look! Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore. Someone must have been doing some breakneck cycling. These bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. There's even a movement to change women's dress to allow them to ride as well. The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that. Goodness, do you dislike bicycles? No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet off firm ground seems reckless. If you'd ever tried walking on stilts and fall into a river, I know you'd agree with me. We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around. That fence is broken. Oh, that's not. Look at the windows of that building, man. It looks broken. No, I don't think it is. Are you sure they're windows? Yes, but they're all filled in with bricks. Oh, you're right. I wonder why. Perhaps this is an empty property where no one lives at the moment. There's smoke coming from the chimneys, though. Oh dear, everything still feels very foreign. There's so much we have to learn about this place. That's a rather typical old brick building, isn't it? I'm sure it has a long and interesting history. Well, time certainly seems to have taken its toll on the place. It's crooked and sagging all over. In fact, it looks decidedly worse in decidedly worse shape than the other houses around here. We must find some cheap lodging ourselves as soon as possible. Yes, you're right, cheap, but ideally with reasonably level floors. The clouds look so big and heavy in the sky, don't they? And with the dense fog as well. Everything looks hazy. Well, it is known as Foggy London Town. I can just make out some sort of spire through the fog. It looks like it's still being built, though. Aha, yes, that must be the Crystal Tower being built for the great exhibition that's to open in 6 months' time. Apparently it's going to be very striking, glazed on all sides in a symbolic centerpiece of the exhibition, and someone's going to die during that whenever it happens. To be the largest exposition in history, is it? I can't even begin to imagine. I didn't mean to hit that, whoops. I'm taking it once over real quick. I think we're good, so... I'll present you anything, because you're still here. Okay, King, come on. Okay, that's where it was. Mearsham Street, Calabash Road, I think this is Strand? We're on, like, Strand Street or something? Yeah, Strand Street. Yep, Sholmes time. The most famous address in the world. Oh boy, what voice did they give Sholmes?
Thank you very much. It's just up there overlooking the street. Good day. Thanks again. This is it. The residence of Mr. Herlock Showers.
Man, got some nice flowers going on there. Look at that, that's nice. Hello, my friend. Good to see you. Where are you? 12:53 p.m. Sholmes is sweet. This is where the great detective makes his living. It feels surreal to be here somehow. Is it as described in the stories, Miss Suzata? Suzata-san? Many famous cases have been solved here in this very room. Oh, I suppose they must have been, yes. I never read the story, so it's hard to get quite as excited about this as she seems to be. This game's characters do give me a little bit more of a serious vibe, but I still think there's plenty of comedy. Oldbag and Larry Butts were just so ridiculous that maybe it's just that anything without them feels more serious by comparison. But it does feel a little bit more serious in this game. Oh, the thrill of it, the romanticism. Wait, that might change, though. I don't know. Can't you feel your heart thumping in your chest? Can't you, Mr. Naruto? Oh, I suppose I can, yes. So if you don't mind... I'll stand here and soak up the atmosphere for a while now. Please don't mind me. Ah, she's obsessed. Well, looks like our detective friend isn't home at present. Excuse me, is anyone home? Oh, do we have a visitor? Oh, do we have a visitor? Oh, right, it's this one. Hello. Hello. It's a vacant case for Mr. Sholmes. Hello. Wait, aren't you... Oh, how rude of me. I'll go make some tea at once. Sure, it's the same girl. Miss Susato, did you see the girl who was just here? Oh, yes, isn't it truly extraordinary? To think that the King of Bohemia came to this very room to ask Mr. Scholes to take on his case. The King of Bavaria? King Wilhelm Gottschalk, Sigismund von Ormstein, of course. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank. Forget the adventures of Prolux for a minute and look over there. The tea's brewed, and freshly baked cake as well. Ah, it's you! I knew it. Susato-san recognizes her too. Ah, there you are. There you are. I'm taking that with you as well. I was looking forward to the trial run of my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Oh, good day to you, Arnwell, the inventor, I suppose, of that machine. It's the girl who turned up at the end of Mr. McGilded's trial in the defendant's antechamber. I've never met a lawyer from the Far East before, or you having to get straight to work when you've only just arrived in London. Oh yes, it was challenging. Well, try this tea. It's my special blend, you know. Oh, thank you. Is tea supposed to look that color? Oh my, what a fragrant yet mellow flavor. Hooray, it's a winner! I tried blending different leaves designed to alleviate fatigue, you see. You must be exhausted after your long voyage here. You must have another ticklish trial tomorrow. And you're here to defend a Japanese man. I do wish you lots and lots of... How do you know this? Mr. Sholmes tell you about us by any chance? Oh, you know Hurley, do you? Hurley? Mr. Sholmes to you... Shirley? Mr. Sholmes, the fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain. Mr. Sholmes, the fellow passenger on the boat that brought us to Great Britain, you see. Was he really? Well, I had no idea. I'm afraid Hurley's run out on an errand again today. You know, he's just returned from overseas. Wait a minute. We met this girl for the first time ever yesterday after the trial, and only briefly, but how on earth does she know so? Thank you! Did she deduce all those things, you think? And perhaps more to the point, why is she here in Mr. Sholmes' suite? Oh, silly me! I haven't introduced myself, have I? It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson. I live here together with Hurley. Ah, Iris, is it? What a lovely name. What? What's the matter? No, wait, this can't be. Did you say that your name is Wilson? What's the matter with Susato-san? Why is she so flustered? She recognizes the name Wilson. Yes, that's right. And what are your names? Oh, I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo, a lawyer from Japan. Oh, sorry. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant, Susato Mikotola. It's wonderful to meet you. Lovely, Susie and Bruno. Love it. Oh god, she reminds me of Delicia. Reminds me of like a young child Delicia. How old is she? Not that. Hen. Oh my, she has a degree. Jesus Christ. It's so funny to me. He's 10 years old. Susie? And Bruno? There's more to this girl than meets the eye. I have so many questions for her, I don't know where to start. Yes, and so do I. Iris. Wait a minute. So, like, is this the first time the series has technically reused a name, like a first name. Wild. I can't think of any other examples of that. They're usually pretty good about that. I guess she has to have a degree in medicine because she's Dr. Watson, but in this game, Dr. Wilson. And it was you who we ran into yesterday, wasn't it? At the Old Bailey. Yes, that's right. You were ever so helpful. Thank you so much. Oh no, not at all. I'm sorry we couldn't have been more welcoming. Though at the time, we did have a rather large gun pointed at us. Like this. Ooh. Ah, thinking back now, you left with Miss Lestrade in tow, didn't you? Oh yes, that awkward witness, Gina Lestrade. Oh, Jenny, yes, she's a professional pickpocket. We found out. It's very naughty of her to pinch my invention like that. Are you referring to that trial-disrupting gun-like contraption? Exactly, so I followed DC to get it back. Perhaps I should think about fitting a self-destruct mechanism in my inventions. This girl is dangerous. Anyway, I brought Jenny back here after that. She could apologize to my trusty technician. Sorry, your technician? Hurley, of course, silly. Hurley? Yes, Herlock Sholmes. We live here together. I had no idea the great detective had such an interesting young daughter. Not likely. What? I wouldn't call him Hurley if he was my father, would I? Yeah, I'm not counting anything that happens in the fan translation of Investigations, too. Yeah, I did consider that when I made that statement. That the two Simons, but that's a fan name, technically. Well then, what is your relationship with Mr. Sholmes? Well, I expect you found out that lodgings of any kind in London are very expensive. So the solution is to share the cost with a partner, a roommate. Your roommates? Oh my god, they were roommates. I hope you don't mind me asking, Iris, but how old are you? 10 at last this year. Well, what of your mother and father? Oh no, they're not around. Oh, I see. I wonder what the story is there. Well, I do know one of them. Oh yes, there's something I must ask you. Of course, go ahead, Susie. I'm a very great fan of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, and... Oh, you have a copy of Rance Mag? Oh, you have a copy of Rance magazine. Yes, I read every issue. It's delivered all the way to Japan on a ship. Oh, this is so exciting. My stories are being read on the side of the world. My stories? That's right. Hurley is always solving such amazing cases, you see, and he tells me all about them. They really are quite fascinating. It would be such a shame if I was the only one who ever heard them, don't you think? Goodness. Last night he was telling me all about a new case he just solved on a steamship traveling from faraway land. I was just in the middle of typing up the manuscript for the next issue before you came. So you are the author. Yes, I'll let you in no secret if you like. I'm going to call this latest adventure the Speckled Band. Speckled Band? That's certainly very familiar. Of course, I always change one or two details of the stories, here and there. This time, I had the idea of making a venomous snake be the cause of all the trouble. Oh, that was Mr. Sholmes' first thought as well, actually. Yes, and of course I know that a snake might not be a credible fit for the facts of the case exactly, but it's a story. Some poetic license is just hard to make it more thrilling, I think, don't you? So do you mean to say... Are the stories about Mr. Sholmes that are published in Rance magazine all written by me? Yes, on my wonderful and very modern typewriter. But all the stories I've ever read are written by a doctor of medicine, Dr. John H. Wilson. Suzato-san's getting more and more worked up. Ah, yes, that's me. I mean, my name really is Wilson. But what about the doctor of medicine part? That's all true too. I am a doctor of medicine. No, at 10 years old? At 10 years old. Well, that's quite incredible. But Dr. Wilson is an English gentleman. Yes. I did alter the setting slightly for the stories to be more compelling. Oh. Well, it sounds a little strange, doesn't it? A great detective with a 10-year-old girl on tow. I suppose it does, yes. Oh, wow, she's... yeah? Of course she's out to sign. She looks like her whole world is just falling apart. Yes, what's on your mind, Reno? Do tell me. How did you know that I was a lawyer and we just arrived in London? Yes. Oh, we have a difficult trial tomorrow. How did you know all that? Oh, that's what you mean. Please, tell us how you did it. Explain every detail. Of course, I'd be delighted. Although, there's really no mystery. Now, let's begin. Iris Wilson is 50%. Her logic and reasoning spectacular. Oh wow, look, another one. First of all, I already knew you were a lawyer, Bruno. After all, I met you at the Old Bailey yesterday at the Old Bailey in the defendant's antechamber. But you also said that we'd only just arrived in London. How did you know that? I observed a passport and a travel ticket protruding from your breast pocket. Oh, so I was reasonably confident that you must have only just arrived in this country. Is there going to be nothing wrong with this? Is that like the joke that she's better at deductive reasoning? And on top of that, you accepted a case against that particular prosecutor, telling me that you were unaware of London's court affairs. The Reaper of the Bailey? I walked right into that one, didn't I? And I noticed a red ink stamp on the back of Susie's hand. You were given that when you visited the local prison to meet with a suspect, weren't you? Earlier today. Ah. They used those stamps to keep a close eye on comings and goings, you see. I didn't realize. And a red stamp is only used for people visiting foreign inmates. So, that told me that even though you had just only yesterday concluded the trial of Magnus McGill, the two of you had already cause to visit a foreign inmate at a local prison. However, neither of you was wearing a particularly sad expression on your face, so I concluded that the prisoner was unlikely to be a friend or a relative. That led me to believe that you must have accepted a new case. I see. But how would you have known the trial is tomorrow? Well, having barely been home a few hours yesterday, Hurley solved yet another case. Obviously amused him, told me that he caught a Japanese man who was bawling and trembling. A Japanese man? Well, clearly that must have been... Mr. Natsume. Now, Runo has that fancy Japanese sword. And I think your outfit is called a kimono, isn't it? See. Well, anyway, it was clear to me that you both came from Japan yourselves. So I put two and two together and decided you must be defending the Japanese man Hurley caught. And there was only one conclusion those facts could lead me to. You both came here to ask Hurley about the case. Wow, yeah, there was nothing wrong with it. There's a note on the mantelpiece that says the man's trial will be tomorrow. Hurley is always stabbing his notes with a knife, you know. He's silly. And that's all there was to it, really. Thank you for listening. I'm Iris Wilson, and that was one of my great deductions. Well, was it a winner? Were my deductions correct? They were spot on. Amazing, Iris. Truly a great deduction. You even managed to certain something of Mr. Sholmes' delivery. Oh well, I was just copying Hurley's style for that. This is really very good news. You could tell us all about the case involving the Japanese man. You will, won't you, Iris? Please? So yesterday, Mr. Sholmes apprehended a Japanese man, you were saying. Yes. Hurley had just arrived back in London after his sea voyage. Police were waiting for him at the railway station to take him directly to the crime scene. The great detective's a popular man, it seems. Apparently a woman was stabbed on a quiet street somewhere in town. There were witnesses who had seen a short, shifty-looking, stooped man running away from the scene. Short, shifty-looking, stooped man? Mr. Natsume beyond any doubt. Ozeki-san said that he didn't see anybody else on the street at all. It seems there were witnesses after all. Hurley used his great detective powers to determine the man's address. There was a lodging room very nearby. He went directly there with the police. And what did they find? A short, shifty-looking, stooped man shivering in fear. Ugh, Mr. Scholl's great deduction certainly hit the mark that time. Of course it did. He's a great detective. Still, that means the incident occurred only 2 days ago. Surely tomorrow's too soon for the trial, isn't it? Yeah, we have no time to investigate properly. Ali says that London is rife with crime. Oh, Scotland Yard is doing its best, but they can't stay on top of it, apparently. Speed trial system? Oh dear, I hadn't realized the situation was so dire. That's why they can't afford to spend too much time investigating cases and trying the criminals in court. Staff and money are both short. Farms are usually pinned on the first suspicious person. Well, I'm glad that they brought that to America too. Well, at least that made its way to America. Or Japan. I don't... Does this mean that Ace Attorney... I guess this doesn't have any implications in the actual setting of the main series, because, like, someone could have just emigrated, I guess would be the word, from Japan to America. That's terrible. I suppose it's the harsh reality of the workings of the world's greatest justice system. I suppose it is, but in that case, I don't hold out much hope for society's side. Oh, poor thing. Thank you for answering so many of our questions, Iris. This has been very informative. Oh, you're most welcome. It's fun. You have to know where Mr. Sholmes is, isn't it? As you guessed, we'd like to ask him some questions about this case as well. Ah, well. I expect Hallie is still investigating the scene. The case involving Mr. Nuts, what do you mean? Yes, Mr. Nuts. Ume? Mr. Nuts Ume. Hallie said he was going to the man's lodgings. If you leave now, you'll probably catch him there. Iris, do you know where the lodgings are? Well, I imagine the police are still investigating the scene of the crime themselves, aren't they? Yeah, we know Inspector Gregson. Ah, goody, in that case. Give Grexy this from me, would you? See, I always thought Phoenix Wright was just Japanese descent American in the localization. That makes the most sense to me. I don't think a two-timeline situation is really necessary there. I also just assumed Nick never knew much about Ryu. Maybe he never learned about him. Yeah, I guess. I did know that, yes, that they localized everything to be in America. What is this? 5-shilling piece in a postcard, it seems. Alright, let's go to Gregson. Please tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem. Gosh, this will make the inspector helpless with it. Well, thank you, Iris. We'll give it a try. Good luck, then. I'm going to return to writing my manuscript, The Speckled Band. And I'll be making more special blends of tea, so come back again soon. We'd be delighted. Thank you so much, Virus. Well, Mr. Narco, back to the scene of the crime. So, somewhat dubious that they would exert any influence over the men of Scotland at all, we headed back to the scene with Iris's curious notes and one of the heaviest silver coins in hand. You gonna make me save? Yep. It's only been an hour and a half. Of course we're gonna keep going. Sounds like there's only one investigation and one trial, so that's exciting. $2:38. Wow, we were there for a while. So the police are still here. It's an investigation. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Yes. Let's see if he'll take a break from his chips to look at that silver tip Iris gave us for. Hey buddy, how you doing? Nope, okay, nothing new. Nothing new, nothing changed, same old shit, yep. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? Gotcha. Sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Much too busy to talk with the pair of foreign without about that's for sure. Well, we have these for you. Present from us, Iris Wilson. What? For me? For our ladyship? For ladyship? Give that here. At once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? What was that coin exactly? The silver crown, obviously, but there's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee, but that's what it is. Appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... That's right, for the adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me. Every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her using money without my say-so does make it a lot of unpleasant jokes, but still. I'm sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know about that, eh? Tell the gentleman in black whatever he wants to know. Of course, that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously, it's not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector, we'd very much like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. The little knife wheel and mustache Japan fellow? Japanese fellow? Lives in a right old hovel. Just over there. Look. Oh, this little... Oh. On the first floor of that house... Of that house with the wreck of a bicycle's propped up. That is nearby indeed. If I remember rightly, the landlord is Mr. John Gatterdeth. Right, well... You see her again. Make sure you give her a ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it. You tell her Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. Yeah, not like the Queen or anything. Well, at least he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Hello, may I help you? Ah yes, would this be the residence of Mr. John Garadeb? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo is representing Mr. Soseki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here? We would very much like to ask him some questions about our client. What? What, Flarg? One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Garadeb. Did you see that, Miss Susato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. I don't know how to do a John Cleese voice. As I understand it, anyone upstanding in English society employs a number of household staff. That was the first time I'd ever seen one in the flesh. Oh, the steak keeps getting better. Certainly feels like we've arrived now, doesn't it? Describe it for me. What do I need to do? Because I can't think of it off the top of my head. You only need to meet a butler and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I would go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting, Mr. Garadeb. We'll see you now. This way. Oh lord, look at this.
Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service.
He does look like a moon. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naruhodo. He's a defense lawyer.
Do excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back. In the Battle of Mywan, don't you know? Earned a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service and handed over the reins to the up-and-comings.
He's a retired soldier. How am I doing? Like...
It's a hell of a job getting up and down stairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much as you imagine.
Yes, it's quite a climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruhodo. Do you think so? Well, Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal.
Oh, it was nothing. The medal was just a toddler old, really. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Joan, fetch them. Ah! Gosh, it all, woman, be careful.
Oh, kidding me? I do beg your pardon, sir.
Oof, you jolly nearly took the skin off my hands.
I shall be more careful, sir.
So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right?
Yes, we'd be very grateful if you can answer some questions for us.
Only too pleased, naturally. Especially keeps the peace here in Blighty. We forged an alliance with the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. This case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Of course.
Oh, is it?
Even had some famous detective poking around in this old house, would you believe?
Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes.
Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business.
Oh, but you have a copy of Rand's magazine here, so...
No.
Anyway, the chap's investigating foreigners for him as we speak.
He's in Soseki-san's room. It's a bally nuisance, what it is. Our neighborhood's twitching its curtains now. Not like all this fuss, it's jolly unsettling, jolly good. Hello there.
About Mr. Natsume. About Mr. Natsume then, Mr. Garrett, please do tell us.
Ah yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week.
Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then?
I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first floor Dash it all, Joan, do be more careful.
Oh, my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. You want to know my opinion? I thought he was a shady sort from the moment I set eyes on him. Because you're racist, probably. I don't know. Oh, why? He seemed to have almost no.
Oh, that also, yeah. They're probably all racist. Every last one of them. The 1900s Britain.
Always seemed to have a most nervous disposition, always shaking and looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. I said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything.
I'll be calling this one his wins, that's for sure.
Was there anything else that struck you as suspicious about the man at all? Yes, oh yes, indeed there was.
She's dying to tell us. Alright, shady lodger. You notice anything else about your lodger, Mr. Natsume?
Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard.
Oh my god. Could you elaborate?
Well, take the man's room. Actually, absolutely stuffed full of books it is. More than anyone else could ever read. He never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. I haven't seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to that little bookshop every day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time that everyone else is in the house and gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed at around 9 each night. I've never known that Japanese fellow to retire any earlier than 2 in the morning.
That sounds familiar.
Could you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsume's routine? Ooh. I understood neither of the lodgers live on this floor of the house, is that correct?
That's right, yes. They're both below us, on the first floor on street level.
Then how is it that you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? As high as times they come back in the evening, for example?
Good grief, Joan, be more careful, one.
Oh my goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry. How do you keep doing that? Something doesn't add up here. It seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. Did you happen to look out the window around that time?
The window?
Yes, we noticed the window over there on Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just on the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby?
5 o'clock is dinner time in Garadev's world, so I'm afraid I wouldn't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan?
No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. With the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the outside of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary then?
Such as?
Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated? Well, yes. Was there something then?
Nothing particularly significant, but around.
There was. Oh my god.
For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing.
Dear me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir.
Do be more careful, woman.
Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow.
Yes?
I have an exceedingly good memory, and as far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Garradet? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been. Oh, well.
Joan, dash it all. What is the matter with you, woman?
Begging your pardon, sir. Nothing happened.
Yes, quiet.
Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Garradet.
Oh, Lord. What is the matter with these two?
Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident, but what?
Wish I knew.
Can you tell us which floor Mr. Natsume's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor. Alright, sorry about that.
Yes, told me Nats's name.
Had asked him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsume has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Would it be alright if we also had a look around in Mr. Natsume's room here?
Don't see why not.
It's just down one flight of stairs. Who knows if we'll find anything that helps with the case, but we'll have to try.
Mr. Dreamworks Moon, yeah. Moon Man.
We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? We need all the clues we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there, we can speak with Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more.
What?
On our screen. Hide something from view. Oh, I guess not. What is that on the ground there? Oh. Cannon. That's a full-size cannon. What's it doing in here? Oh my, it's real. I thought it might be a replica.
That old thing. That's a little more than a toy.
Sorry?
The army was selling off when I retired, so I decided to give it a new home. Never know when the enemy might attack next. It's really useful to have a cannon in the house.
I didn't mean to hit that. Really? It isn't overkill?
Be prepared, I always say. Be prepared! You never know what this twisted world is going to throw at you next, boy.
Do you think there may be trouble brewing, Mr. Garradet?
Always is take Joan here never fail to have a clean apron in reserve. Rise them over the barrel, you see. They dry very well on the cannon there, Joan tells me, which rather proves my point, I feel.
I'm so sorry. Looks like it's been reduced to a drying rack. No wonder the huge cannon looks like it's hanging its head in shame. Books. Do you have a pile of books here? Do you enjoy reading?
Ever experienced a London winter, boy? The nights are long. I've got no better way to pass the time than in front of the fire with a jolly good book.
Oh, there's a copy of Brand's magazine here, I see. No doubt Mr. Garradet enjoys the adventures of Sherlock Holmes too. The great detective has a great many followers, it would seem. Oh, there's a lot more to the... Okay. There's more. Look at all these chickens. Look at all this crockery on display here. It's rather unusual, isn't it? Oh my, a genuine London dresser. Isn't delightful? Although the shelves seem to be broken. And the crockery is... Oh dear, it's in pieces. Oh, it really is. The word cracked wouldn't do that chinaware justice. Ah, I wonder. Perhaps the cannon was fired at it. Yeah, it's probably something like that. But let's not delve too deep. Oh my god. Somehow I doubt. Just hold a hunch. Oh look! What a wonderful collection of cakes lined up on that gleaming silver cake stand. Lined up. Looks more like someone has half demolished them to me. Afternoon tea is a time of indulgence, you know. It is quite the English way. It is Mr. Garrideb's custom to take 2 cakes with his tea. That sounds delightful. Oh, wait a minute though. There are at least 10 cakes on this cake stand. Well, naturally. I would never do to waste the leftovers. Well, Mr. Garrideb doesn't eat. I'd say to myself, Joan, you shall have to tidy up. How magnanimous of you. The window looks over Briar Road where the young woman was attacked. Oh yes, I can make out the policeman on the far side of the road investigating the crime scene. The glass is rather murky, isn't it? You can't see very clearly. Does this thing open at all, I wonder? I shouldn't underestimate the bitterness of a London winter, sir. As soon as you open that window, the tea will freeze at the pot. No Londoner would go opening windows at dusk in the middle of winter, I assure you. It's very unlikely that these two would have seen anything of the incident then. Cake is so bad it's fallen off the cake rack. That looks like a Medal of Honor. Yep. Displayed with some pride, I would say, although it bothers me it's not straight. What, that old thing? Alright. I should be glad to see the back of it, but the general would turn his grave if I disposed of it. The wall's the best place for it. Keeps the bully thing out of my way. It's been polished aside by accident, I suppose. There needs to be an inscription on the medal itself. Look. See, it says, for distinguished participation. Sounds like even the kind of honors even I could be in line for. Well, one doesn't like to blow one's trumpet, but I was given that for my time in the army. Can't measure an officer by the number of medals to his name, of course. Common knowledge in military circles. Are those mortar shells? They're enormous. I hadn't noticed. What are they doing there? I didn't even see them either. Ah, those old things? A couple of little rounds accidentally fired into the barracks during training, you know? Became a bit of a colorful regiment folklore that incident. You mean you deliberately hunted out the spent shells? Well, I wouldn't say deliberately exactly. They only scrap iron after all. Usually just thrown away, I believe. You never know when things might come in useful, do you? Useful for what, exactly? Yes, well... Joan here did manage to knock one of the bolly things on my foot the other day while she was dusting. Oh no! Hadn't shed a tear since 1869 before then, you know. Maybe reconsider throwing them away? Gloria. Oh, I did... Fuck. Oh, back. That uniform looks fairly ancient, doesn't it? Clearly been well looked after, though. That old thing? Ah, not much better than rags, really. Oh, for that ceremonial garb at my retirement bash, you know. I'm not one for dwelling on the past me. I would have gladly thrown it out, but you know how it is. Anyway, it doesn't hurt to have the odd piece of memorabilia lying around, does it? Oh, I see. Perhaps we should leave the past in the past. Let it go, as they say. Looks like everything. Oh, no. That portrait of Mr. Garrideb is glaring at me, I swear. Have you noticed that all the little frames contain photographic prints of Mr. Garrideb as well? Yes, and there seems to be a statue of a lion on the mantelpiece as well. Yes, seems to come from the back of the local pawnbroker with that little trinket. Seemed to come back? What do you mean? The chap who runs the place is a bally wizard. Went to sell him something and came out with that thing. Point of fact, now that I think about it, I rather often find myself leaving the place for something I don't need. The lion ornament certainly does seem surplus to requirements. Whose ultrasound doesn't pull her punches, or her throws for that matter. That, I think, is everything, but you know, we'll just look. Hey Blue, how you doing?
How'd you do? Jolly good. Hope you're doing well tonight. Go back now. We can move. I'm doing pretty well, yeah, thank you. New location, cool. The Garradev's room? I thought there was just one. Kitty! 19th, Mr. Natsume's room. Lord, has a lot of books. Wow, just look at this place. And smell it, it's so musty in here. Those are the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. I don't think I've ever seen so many books in all my life. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Yeah, we saw that from the outside. Well, it was the window, I think, yes. Once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. Isn't that a show with, like, the pickle Rick? I'm kidding. This is where Mr. Natsume is. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere, have you? No, that's true, but according to what Mr. Garradev told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Well, look, it's a beckoning cat from home. A bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely that Mr. Natsume didn't bring that Maneki Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you forgetting the enormous Dharma dolly that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsume wanted the same, and this cat is sure to beckon good luck to him. Not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. You didn't say a word. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Look at all those books stacked up there. They're all works of English literature, and they smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. Dreamy, for me at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. So reading is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime, just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect this conversation to turn down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Do you even call this a window? I didn't get a mint under my pillow or anything. I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although, all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? Why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. Ah! Perhaps Mr. Natsume painted the brick design on in a fit of whimsy. Ugh, that's alarmingly feasible. I cannot imagine living in this room. This is insane. I would die in here. Anyway, for whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive. It does. Imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. The desk seems to be wedged into a crevasse between the mountains of books on either side. No window or anything? I'm not a fan. I suppose Mr. Natsume would sit there and read while stroking his cat. It's surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes. But there's, listen, if you can handle this, more power to you. I would have such an urge to clean it, and like there's no window, the smell is musty. Like I couldn't deal. Surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done, mustn't he? Oh, what's this? Game. It's a receipt from a secondhand bookshop. Your books. Oh yes, Mr. Natsume's name is on it. Look, and the day of purchase. 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. That's the day of the incident. It's a short while before the attack. He must have been on his way back after burying some old books. Huh. It's like the first piece of evidence we've gotten all day. Yeah, I don't think this game is very well optimized for PC.
I'd heard there was a hack fix for it. Actually, I think it's 30 frames a second too. Look at all these balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Natsume must have been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? Or deeply averse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. Oh, hello. Save you for last. Kitty! Hello, cat. Like the first three-dimensional animal in the whole franchise. Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master is away. I don't know about that. He disappeared into the pile of books as quick as a flash. The tricolor Mikke, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Mr. Natsume brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Oh yeah, well, that's true. I forgot about Taka. I legitimately forgot about Taka. I just consider them like one entity at this point, so that's my bad. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. I don't see anything here. Do you guys? Right, the orca. Oh my god. Jesus, I just was not thinking when I made that comment. Ignore me. That was very stupid of me to forget all of that. And I was just thinking about Turnabout Reclaimed the other day. I don't see anything. But it seems to want to tell me. It seems that these books in particular are important and I should examine them, but I don't understand why. They just look like more books to me. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhodo. I see books. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He was being engrossed in the pages of an old book. Probably. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, you too. Good day. Now, let me see. Where was it that we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on the SS Buria. Yes, of course, the Buria. And let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Sogi. He died. Asagi, he died tragically. You were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asagi. It was the one with the snake, wasn't it? Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it at least. I don't know, maybe... Oh god, the scroll wheel advances dialogue? I did not realize that. Oh no, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhodo and Mr. Suzat. They were there. They were in your brain attic, I will give you that. Try it the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. I lose the first round. I love this guy. In truth, I'd hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London, but some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at a railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. Blood basement. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. They have separated Soseki-san in that short amount of time. I'm afraid the pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of my past involvements a little. A little? It is a mistake to think that one's brain attic has elastic walls and can extend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inimitable wisdom. You know, an adventure titled A Study in Scarlet. Is it A Scarlet Study? Is that the Sherlock Holmes book? Those words seem familiar to me. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but when I do, fortunately my associate pens them beautifully. Means Iris, I suppose. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I should be only too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. In Murky Cave from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Mr. Natsume. We know this to be the lodging of a Japanese foreign student by the name Sozeki Natsume. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes. For the stabbing of a young woman outside here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? I'm sorry, Mr. Zato, but I have not the slightest idea of what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Suzato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. I assure you I'm not merely feigning ignorance. It appears that the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. That doesn't make sense. A good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request to me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man seen fleeing the crime scene. A man seen fleeing. There were a number of books scattered around on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. Audino, Murky Row, Doughblade. I like the, I can't remember. It's Hone Edge, that's the first one, then it evolves into Doughblade, and then it's Aegislash. However, this place is a trove of fascinating books, and I found myself quite lost in bibliophily. Do not be deceived into believing that I'm a man of leisure. No, no, no. Take off your jacket, dude. I've seen you without it. You look cute. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Oh, I love Aegislash. I think it's great. Mr. Garrett, a retired military. It was the first time I've ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. First time I've ever met a maid from the greatest British institution that is service. Haha. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. As you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much as my Great Britain primer. And so conversely, whether or not a household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing? Sorry? Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. In the upper echelons of society, of course, households employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary! As you can appreciate, for those in the precarious boundary between the middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is of first importance. I had no idea, and it's for precisely that reason that I find a great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Oh, yeah, I do. Specifically in the retired army veteran, Mr. John Garrett. Oh? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances as this case, I am as yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost on what he means to say. Can he not afford a maid in his head and got somebody to pose as a maid so that he can look cool? The dingy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. I assure you, any man whose lot it is to dwell in a place like such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Get called out, y'all. Mr. Natsume has stabbed no one. But sooner or later, I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, no, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows? Precisely that. Huh? Oh my goodness! Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country by the number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly closed windows up, while the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful and unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Indeed, disease was rife as a result. Some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. Yep, that feels like a real thing. I don't think they would just make that up. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Mr. Natsume's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps, but it would appear so. I've done a little digging and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. This is because the room is so awful, I take it. Apparently, Mr. Natsume only moved in here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. Oh? Still, that is of little relevance here, a matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. I'm gonna do a logic and reasoning spectacular. I believe I've told you all I can now. Oh, maybe not now, there's nobody around. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhodo. Was it not your intention to become a practitioner of law? You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very matter? The occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended somebody in court here only yesterday. Really? No, I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized, and so promptly, too. Thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients, to trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? Not too fellow, I haven't the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there are simply too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, there are two facts that I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of this crime 2 days ago was a Japanese occupant of this room, and there are witnesses who swear to having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. Oh, and one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I'm quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garadev is? Mr. Scholes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to the case. Mr. Naruhodo, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that could help establish Mr. Natsume's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps it's time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadev's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhodo. Busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. Can I see him? Oh, yeah, he has gone back. Talk to him again. Mr. Sholmes? Yes, so true. To be or not to be? That is indeed the question, Mr. Naruhodo. Be or not to be brushed off? That is the question, and the answer is all too clear. Let's leave Mr. Sholmes in peace, shall we? Back to the Garadevs, I guess? Oh, they're not here. Oh, they're here. Ah, Yupa again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forgot his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes?
Ah yes, that rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid.
Well, Mr. Holmes is in his element down there.
Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Now then, why don't you tell me what... For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what you're bally well doing?
They'll be serving dinner shortly, sir.
Ah yes, of course. Partly rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave, if you'd be so kind.
Oh yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance.
Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves.
It's been a pleasure.
Best of luck and all that. Perhaps you could see yourselves out. Oh, must have get upside or something.
I didn't even see this. Oh, candle holder looks a little out of place here, wouldn't you say? Yes, you're right. Yes, you're right. It's clearly supposed to be gold, but it's almost completely black for some reason.
That old thing, yes, just a cheap piece of ironmongery gimcrack, really. Oh, used it when I was studying, you know, don't you know, for my commission. I know it's old, hardly worth hanging on to really, but, well, it has its uses sometimes. This man is...
What the hell? Did you see that plaid piece of cloth hanging from the ceiling? Completely breathtaking. Of course. Does everything in this room have some elaborate story behind it? They're memories, Mr. Naruhodo. Memories. Truly a delightful piece of fabric. That is the thing that catches my eye in this room more than anything. It's such a shame we can't examine it. What's he doing over there? Where did you go? Where did you go? Mr. Scholz? Aha, we meet again, my dear fellows.
Good gracious, when did you sneak in here?
Sherlock Holmes, sir, at your service.
Whatever were you doing over by the window?
I'm given to watching the evening skies, the sunsets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks an aperture for observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye on its windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm guessing. And one other thing, Mr. Naruhodo. Oh, me? I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Oh boy. Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon.
Yup.
It's time. Do you mean Mr. Scholz? There's a mighty secret in this modest room. My eyes see even the most trivial of trifles. I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhodo? Naruhodo? I think so. There's time enough for just one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let's conclude the matter before dark. Conclude the matter before dark. Mr. Garadeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as a landlord is certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions that I've been able to draw by careful observation of your living arrangements.
I beg your pardon.
The first is that even as we speak, you're concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. And the second is that as a result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. Mr. Naruhodo, look. The old man's broken out in a cold sweat. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Scholz's conclusions are spot on.
How could you possibly?
How could I possibly know, you mean to inquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. When the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of beasts. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Sherlock Holmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Nature of the beast. It certainly wouldn't take a great detective to see that a fearsome beast has been on a rampage of late within these four walls.
Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Ah, for a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncommonly candid. Aye. Your furtive glance, Mr. Gyaradev, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of this... Real alliance then, what the hell? Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at least. The fact is fueled your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of beasts. What is this piffle, I ask you? In the end, your admiration became so great, in fact, that you had a living, breathing specimen shipped from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What?
Oh, he's got a mark on the other side of his face. That's why he sits like that.
Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you would imagine. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well, yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam? Me? I pray you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Ah! Yes, you sought to dispose of this terrifying lion, Mr. Garrett. At Patty's Circus, a traveling show currently sojourning in a nearby park. I have observed the tents. You sold the savage lion, sir, to the circus troupe. I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point, boy. Here we go. The fearsome beast was ran off as an Indian lion. And a simple visit to the circus now reveal this lion playing prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Oh my god. That's amazing. I almost wish it was right. Now, Mr. Gyaradev, it's finally clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, in that blithe pose, the distress this loss has caused you is relatively tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders, your pain you feel being revealed by that supporting arm. Amid fits of tears, you let your beloved be. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man. I simply... But now we must ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? But what now we must ask is the true cause of this pain? We need only follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. Yes, it is a pile of bills that has given rise to pain, son. Every envelope contains another demand for your payment. Ah. For the cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on the financial circumstances of your household. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can clearly be seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Ah. At this time, madam, I'm afraid as you has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eyes settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the Tower of Caves. What? Ah. There's no creature more dangerous. If they have no bread, let them eat cake. Food is at the heart of all tragedy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired of the last taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. Worked into frenzy by hunger, the lion attacked me and ate the carpet. The teeth marks on the carpet are a perfect match with those of a lion I once saw in India. Oh my Christ. Oh my god, I love this guy. Let's... Great job, Hairlock. His mouth is so agape.
scolding hot tea. Oh, is that a typo? I think it might be. Unless that's how they say it. They said it back then. No, did you not? How do you not notice? The cup runneth over. Yes, 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 yes. Oh. Mr. Shaw, I'm sorry to butt in again, but can I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruto. What is it again? Your deductions just now. Do you really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it's the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth all too often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But if an uncaged lion had run amok in this very room, surely Mr. Garradeb and his maid would have been hurt or worse. Ah, that's why you were stuck. No doubt the former military man held his own against the beast using that lunch. I thought you said the blind to the circus. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing, but I don't believe I've ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Susato. It occurs to me with some regularity that irrespective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they infuse with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Oh, what a glorious notion. Oh my god. Well then, Mr. Naruto, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling it was coming. A slight massage. That's all Mr. Scholl's deductions need. You can do it. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruto. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help him. That's his case. At least that's what I want to believe. Let us start again. From the beginning. Yeah. A rampaging AC. It's not, but we know it's not the lion. I really didn't see the lion thing coming. No, but if you said... Rather seems as though the beast didn't. Yeah, something with a very fierce nature, but it couldn't have been a lion, so what was it? We must follow Mr. Garradeb, please. Now we'll yes, yep. Oh, I see. She's. I think that's probably the maid, and what happened was like she's posing as a maid, but she's actually his wife. Mr. Garradeb's wedding. Looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. Wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply here. I really don't think... It probably is that, but I just want to look at something. Based on where he was looking, I don't know. I doubt it was the mortar shells. Was it his newlywed bride? That'd be so funny.
Take that!
The true nature of that beast has been rampant here is revealed by the newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruto. No other explanation possibly fit. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Garrett. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we still make out her mighty arms and note the considerable horsepower they must contain. Oh, honored. me.
Alright, let's see. Is it just her? It might just be her. I can't imagine it's a teapot. Oh, it's the wing. It's the ring, isn't it?
Take that!
Yeah, I knew it. She's his wife. And he's trying to boost his social standing, so she poses as maid. Your wedding ring is a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Indeed it does, that flowery breath. Yep. It was identical to the one shown on the hand of Mr. Garadeb's bride in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. No. Hey Cody, how you doing? You are Mr. Garadeb's lucky bride. You are Mrs. Garadeb herself. Oh my, what? I know it was weird when they said the Garadeb's room or whatever. Well, jolly fine detecting, sir. As you rightly surmised, this is the wife, yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you. Oh Jesus Christ, are you alright, Goldie? Is everything okay? It's clear you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, that you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? It's not right, I tell you. I was second lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment. A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London one is rather judged. Household cannot be worthy of society if it employs no staff at home. Though in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are folly. You mean Mr. Garadeb has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garadeb? Only in company, obviously. But listen, only in company, obviously. But listen here, this must remain a secret. Top secret, please. Please. Okay, so something happened here. He got burned on the back of his face. So clearly she didn't eat the carpet, so what's going on now? You got Kleenex? Oh lord. Well, glad you're alright. Now, Mr. Garadeb. I don't think so. Let me tell you. It's not his supporting arm. Oh, that's a slap mark. Oh my god, they got in a fight?
Take that!
Jesus. I'm glad you're alright, dude. It feels heavier on your shoulders, the pain you feel being revealed by the slapped cheek. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek refuses to fade. Was you, Madam Joan Garadeb? Well, yes. You've been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ugh. How the blazes? How did you work that out, man? Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us even once. Keep your other side from view. Well, I mean, I'm sure there might be some red in the shape of a slap mark if you got slapped hard enough, but it would fade eventually. Why are we subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what has caused Madame Garadeb to fly into a rage. And we need only the direction to gaze to answer. Pile of bills. Oh, is he cheating? Chelsea person give her husband right. What is this anyway? Oh, someone must be reading the bookmark. Mr. Gatto is clear. Wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, so it isn't. It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look next to the signature here. Lip marks. Made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Don't get any ideas, Susato-san. Oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then. Well, we know what caused that. Now we know, so...
Take that!
Yes, it is this love note that has given rise to the pain you suffered. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Perhaps the sender of this note, a certain Miss Mary. There's a fly in the ointment here. Gah! But I don't know the Bolly woman. You don't know her. That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say? That's right. That's what I've been saying. A likely story. Now listen here, Joan. I think I can explain at the time. I bought that book at a second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there. But the previous owner of this book was using it as a bookmark. That's right. That's what I've been saying. A likely story. For heaven's sake, boy, just look at the name. It's written to James. My name, in case you've forgotten, is John. Likely story. Are you questioning my name now? And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you will unleash the beast, the most ferocious bite. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? Yep. Bro. Really just not gonna see what the... Is it the candles? It might be. Oh, is that what that is?
Take that!
Oh god, that'd be something paper star. Explain the dirt, dice, sorry, candlestick, illuminating, and of course the on the top of the labyrinth. Finally, we can address that. The scorch mark. Scorch? Scorch. It would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Mrs. Garadev's mighty arm muscles left an impression on not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of a strike caused the candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds the copper was alight, the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes, the most ferocious beast in the world. This world is neither a violent lion nor a form of fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast spared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there's but one conclusion here. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was a scene of a fire.
Mr. Sholmes, I salute you! Oh my god, don't die, dude. Firea. Oh god, that was Lucagen's nickname for a Cyndaquil. I remember back in the Heart Gold days. Elementary! Yay, we did it! We did it! We're so good at this game, y'all. It's those dashed long winter nights, you know, nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily there's a jolly good second-hand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my novels here. There. And in the pages of one particular novel, you discover some rather illicit material, for which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolish might be closer to the mark. That beast is most certainly an apt... Oh, here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by fire when a candlestick fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place was filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. I was caught between the old stick's rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread up. The bally furniture started going up as well. We had to find the mess behind the screen for the time being. Over here, Mr. Garrett. Well, you have nothing more to hide now, if you'll allow me. Oh my. Had all my favorite novels in old novels in that case. As soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Gosh. Then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. It was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. Worst of it is I lost my favorite, book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride? Ah yes, your notorious love of big cats coming through again. I assure you, the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. The poor man really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turned out to be correct. No, they didn't. Only be described as a great British wonder. I tell you, it was total carnage. Flames everywhere and the old stick in full fettle. Out of interest, what time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see, around 5 o'clock, I think. The time of the murder. Exactly the same time. The terrifying incident was unfolding outside your window on the street below. Even more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. Full of blight, he could have been flattened outside my window at that moment. I wouldn't have noticed a damn thing. Oh, really? Mr. Sholmes? Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, what can I do for you? Well, I think we've got to the bottom of Mr. Garrett's situation now. What does that have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you do recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether his secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruhodo, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only 2 categories, those relevant to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It's of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry. Visiting hours at the prison will soon be over. Oh no, is that time? Yep. If we're to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have official paperwork to attend to. So that's it, no more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourself to bidding us farewell now. I must prepare supper for Mr. Garrett. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Ozeki-san will be waiting for us. And I'm going to have to give him an answer. I'll just take the damn case. We must hurry back. Thought I went there. Let's hear it. Oh. It looks like something's going on. Oh god, it's... What are you? What the hell are you? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers.
Who are you calling old man? Old man, you rum-looking nimny chimney? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. Oh, this Horatio fellow, huh? What are you on about? Excuse me. Eh? What the? Who are you now? I'm sorry, it just looked like there's maybe some problem here. My associate here, Mr. Rionosuke Naruhodo, is a lawyer, you see? A lawyer? What? Good. That's the voice, that's the voice. If we have any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I've studied English law. Fine, I'll be on my way for today. But you mark my words. Good. This ain't over yet. Get thee to a nunnery. Do I look like a bloomin' under you? I can't do a Popeye voice. I'm trying. I gave up on that extremely quickly. Oh, what is with you? You look like you did it. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle. Thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy. I'm not Horatio either. Forgive the enquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here in the Gyarados residence? Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so right. Yes, I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Gyarados, watch. Do the man. Okay, LaBelle. Do you happen to know the other lodger who lives on the first floor? Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words. Could there be... Sorry, battle did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I sparred long into the night. I don't fully understand, but it seems like Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances at least. So fair maiden, so good gentleman, I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well. Didn't really understand it, but I think he's returned to his room. Seems like he's unaware of what happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. Oh, you did it. One of them did it. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. With Sozeki-san and that man as lodgers, the Gyarados house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Oh, it's you! You're here. You came. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Naruhodo Esquire. I can't believe you came back. I'm so touched. We are so sorry to have kept you waiting, Mr. Natsume. Oh, no. Think nothing of it. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never failing Nipponese. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. There's nothing more What the... Oh, the hound. Oh. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. It's you! The miserable, rotten spy, Hairlock Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything, per se. Oh, that's me on a daily basis. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in a gloomful room, having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how I divested from this pair. Gloomful room? At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is the superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been a delight, and it cost me not a penny. You! How dare you, Hairlock Sholmes! Ugh. I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake.
haunted by spirits in those accursed lodgings. No doubt my luck will be cursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life has been damned.
What are you thinking, Mr. Naruto? You mentioned that once before, didn't you? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? And there's much truth in Mr. Mustache's words. Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings, and indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Natsume, what did you mean when you said, by what you said just now? About the trial tomorrow being cursed?
Oh no, why are you looking so brave? You're making me nervous. I was just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it.
That's really agitated.
You don't mean trial really is cursed somehow?
Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey?
The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me. Summarize this succinctly in 16 salient words.
No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Oh, I think I screwed that up. Hold on. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution ever. Wow, 16.
Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly.
Now that's a sequel to You Can Clearly Be Seen in This Video. Yesterday, Mr. Naruto successfully defended somebody against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGill did.
What?
Ah, I'm impressed, Miss Suzato. You have a great eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes, surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. No, I don't think so. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely.
You have some wonderful notions.
Sorry?
Man is no mass murderer. He's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow.
Oh, yes. Why, of course he is.
Yeah, of course he is. Then why are you trying to scare me?
It could be said, however, the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your heart. What on earth do you mean by that? Van Zieks is a quite exceptional man. However, in London courts of law, exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Blue, this is a real person, actually. Sozeki Natsume. Exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception.
Ah, that's good.
Sozeki-san looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in a British criminal trial there's both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, while the jury offers public opinion and common sense. An excellent system whereby the defendant's guilt is considered from several points of view. However, in public opinion in particular, it is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage. By any means at their disposal, contriving evidence, calling impostors as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who are able to sway the jury. It means in light of the irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But it means the wrong verdict can be passed. And sadly, is from time to time, my dear madam. It's simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright. However, those indicted by Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the adjudication may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking.
Disappear? But how?
By all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever, or perhaps attacked by highwaymen.
Oh, no.
All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruto.
Ah, I knew it. I'm dead, Dodo, done for, doomed.
When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room at the Mr. Garadev's house, I assume. You mean to say you believe the place is cursed?
It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. I'd only been in London a week before I started to notice strange feelings in myself. That didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. They were always staring at me all the time, from dawn till dusk. So I shut myself away in my room, but even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away.
You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time.
I've had to move a number of times, most recently to that room on Briar Road, a week ago now.
Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient.
The rent is cheap. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, "The room is cursed." Oops.
He quickly tried to cover his mistake.
But it was too late, so I told him, "If you have something to say, then say it, but if not, don't mention it in the first place."
Yes, well said.
But it was true. It was all true.
You mean the room really is cursed then?
Ever since I moved in that windowless hellhole, my sleep has been plagued with nightmares. I awake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. In my waking hours, people are stabbed in front of me as I walk down the street. I'm burned as a killer, thrown in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. If only there was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all?
Believe, yes, to believe. To believe. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me, Mr. Naruto? Pray, what can I do for you? About the case on the SS Borea, if you recall.
The Borea.
Yes, that case. The one... Yes. Because at that time I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. You helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is why. Why did you believe in me?
See, yes, you mean...
Because you were grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room. Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised at the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. Quite simple, really. You said I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Surely you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. I think perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? You see, the only things I believe in are the things are those I choose to believe in. What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. Ha ha ha. In that case, I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It is a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself.
Yes, he's right. He's right, locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire.
Whether or not I can believe myself. Defense lawyer is only good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. You were so right, Cosmo. Oh, my dear fellows, it's time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Seeing hours are over, the guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? Oh dear, there never is enough time, there's never enough time, is there? Geez, don't keep the dude in suspense, come on now. Mr. Natsume, if you'd like, in trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you.
Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire.
As I said, I only experienced a British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial.
Something crucial?
What to believe in, the defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I've decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruto. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court.
Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire.
I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow.
As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue.
Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruto, that your mind was, in many ways, made up from the outset.
You merely needed the events today to fully realize it.
Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Miss Susato, would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Absolutely. As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. It's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now too. So it's time that I learned to believe in myself. Uzaki-san has no one. He's all alone, so it's my job to help him fight his corner. Tomorrow in the courtroom. With all the strength I can muster. All right. All right, it looks like we should take a break. I think this is too short and I can keep going, so I'm going to choose to keep going. It hasn't even been 3 hours yet, so we're gonna go, I think. If I have to split the trial, I'll split the trial, but I'm not stopping now. So we're gonna take a break. It'll be, I'm gonna say, I can probably finish the case overall. Okay, good to know. I'm going to say we will be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna give it a little long one. So I'll just, 10:30, we'll start the trial. How about that? Nice solid 3 hours from when we started the case. So, you know, get a drink, do what you want, go to the bathroom, all that stuff. I will be right back, and in the meanwhile, you know, intermission.